Number 2 channel, social media marketing. This has become such a pervasive way of communicating to today's generation. Providing value through social media channels is always a good precursor to then inviting the audience through normal posts or through paid advertising. And then number 3, your traditional advertising channels of TV, radio, print, pay-per-click, banner advertising can still be effective to reinforce your message. And getting all 3 of these channels to come together is often the way to get people across that finish line. It's also important to distinguish between the reasons people will buy a ticket or register for your event and the reason they will remember it. Your brand values and the reason they feel connected to your tribe, which will result in word-of-mouth recommendations and repeat visits. The brand value is built through the value that you deliver at the event, which could be as little as providing value through a networking platform. But real loyalty comes when you can actually create unique and memorable experiences. And this leads us into the building of the event. So that's pretty much all there is for this section, but let's go through our checklist. So we've thought about the why of your event. We've thought about who your main audience is and how you will communicate to them about attending. Now we need to get into the meat of planning your event. And the first part now is determining when the event should take place and how long it should last. Now, event producers who are familiar with the cadence of an in-person physical event are often curious and ask us whether there are similar optimal times and durations for online events. There's no exact science in answering this question. However, there are some guiding principles which must be considered. In-person events will often require an attendee to take time out from their usual schedule. It might include travel and booking accommodation, and if this is the case for a significant portion of your audience, then it's often wise to make the hassle involved in travel and staying away from home worth it. You, as the event producer, must be concerned with the creation of space in the event, time for networking and meeting, as well as determining the potential for curated moments in plenary sessions which unite the messaging and can mobilize your entire audience. Now, hybrid events, online and in person, typically have the same considerations as in-person events, as it mirrors the in-person event experience. Now, it often comes as a surprise to first-time hybrid event producers that the people attending the online portion of the event are actually physically present at the event. They may have other commitments, or they may be in a hotel room, and they don't want to miss out on certain parts of the event. It may be that they missed a plenary session because of an offline meeting, and they are catching up with the flow of the event. The bottom line with hybrid events is that you should simply mirror the in-person schedule. Exclusively online events may be treated slightly differently. Since they don't require attendees to take time off work, one more significant consideration is that attendees may only be joining outside of work hours, unless, of course, you're hosting a work event, in which case holding it within typical working hours becomes optimal. Many in-person expo-type events have very little main stage time and spread the event over a number of days so that attendees can network, have offline business meetings, grab a coffee or lunch together. These same components are not all present with online events. The event isn't constrained by a physical place, and therefore the times when aspects of the event happen will differ. It's important that you give thoughts to when your main plenaries in a virtual event happen for this very reason. If you typically have longer, more drawn-out plenaries, you may think about condensing your main program slightly time-wise. I might add that it's important not to swing the pendulum too far in the other direction. It's not unusual for our project managers to advise clients on the need to actually include breaks in their schedule when they have multiple back-to-back 1-hour sessions. In addition, while you can't grab lunch with someone online, there are still numerous networking tools that should be factored in your event. Maybe give thought to how your event can be more than a simple one-way broadcast. The question remains, when should you schedule certain components within maybe a multi-day event? Now, there are no hard and fast rules. You know your audience, and we can have constructive conversation about that. But we typically see a few general rules that are different than in person. We often see spikes at the beginning of an online event in a much greater way than we would in an in-person where people may arrive late. And then, as with in-person event, we will see spikes when top bill presenters